Interesting story developing right now. The city of Montreal has received a demand letter informing the city that certain clients of my next guests are upset with the lack of steps taken by the city and police to protect the people of Montreal. And this is in direct relation with the anti-Semitic incidents that we've seen, which are on the rise in Montreal, but that we've seen in particular since the October 7th attacks on Israel. Joining me now is Neil Oberman, lawyer at the firm of Spiegel, Sohmer. Cher confrère, good morning.
Good morning to you and all your listeners. Thank you for having me.
So you on behalf of your clients, and I understand your clients want to remain anonymous at this point, on behalf of your clients, you've sent a demand letter to the city of Montreal. Tell us more about the letter.
Yes. So my two concerned citizens that are identified as citizens 1 and 2 instructed us to send a formal demand letter to Mayor Valérie Plante, the elected official for the island of Montreal as mayor. The purpose of the letter is to remind her of her legal, ethical, and moral obligations to protect all citizens on the island of Montreal. The issue is not a question of one community over another. It's an issue for all communities in Montreal to be able to access public roads, thoroughfares, buildings, restaurants, businesses, without the possibility of being impeded by people who are spreading hate, aggression, and violence while being masked in the city of Montreal.
Okay, so you are basically are you targeting only Mayor Plante? Or are you targeting Fadi Daguerre, the police department? I mean, who are the targets of this letter?
Okay, the letter is directed to the mayor of the city of Montreal. However, the following persons were copied because they too are implicated by the fact that they're not able to do their jobs. For example, the Montreal Police Department, Urgence Santé, Public Works, the fire department. Your listeners are certainly fully aware that these types of hate assemblies block the public thoroughfares, bridges, metros, and restaurants. You know, everybody knows that fire trucks have to get down roads, ambulances have to get to calls, and people need to access the public transportation. The problem that our two concerned citizen clients have is that the city of Montreal, namely the mayor, has taken no steps in order to stop these hate assemblies, hate marches from taking over the island of Montreal. And I want to remind your listeners who perhaps are, thinking that perhaps this is an attempt to stop free speech. Yeah. There's a fundamental distinction, and I'm not going to get into all the legalese, but safe to say that the law does not protect hate speech and hate assembly and promoting violence and aggression. So let's be very clear. This isn't about the freedom of expression, and there is no freedom to hate. And at the end of the day, we are a country, a province, and should be a city that abides by the rule of law. Unfortunately, the position of our clients is that the rule of law is not being applied here in the city of Montreal, that the good citizens across many communities are being impacted by the unlawful conduct of persons who seek to impede good citizens of the island of Montreal from enjoying their public spaces, shopping, and doing what they need to do.
So I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but the city, since the incidents that we're thinking about, schools being shot up, vandalism at synagogues, you've seen efforts from the city of Montreal. The mayor has come out. Fadi Daguerre, the chief of police, has come out. There are apparently investigations. There's been more patrols. What more do you want, or do your clients want, the city to do?
It's an excellent question, colleague, and thank you so much for bringing a different context to the debate. But here's the reality. There is snow in the Arctic. What does that mean? There is a serious problem here in the city of Montreal. When you can have over 30 hate marches spewing aggression against anybody who is a citizen of our great province and of our great country, there is a problem. Don't confuse the issues of fire bombings and shootings at schools, which by itself is completely unacceptable.
Of course.
But what you have to see is what is the origins of these types of situations. And when you have an unchecked set of people going about and causing havoc and mayhem in our city, it inspires those to see that there's a carte blanche to continue with their other unlawful, illegal, reprehensible conduct. So you see, 1 and 2 are actually connected, colleague. Yeah. And the fact that nobody at City Hall considers what is going on to be anything but hate assembly, hate speech, aggression, and a demonstration that in the island of Montreal, you can come, cover your face, spew hatred, and get away with it, and nobody does anything. It's not about what the police are not doing or doing. It has to start from the top of the totem pole. The mayor is there to protect the population in Montreal. If the mayor, in her great esteem, considers running around the city masked and causing havoc and mayhem is free speech, then I question whether or not there's a inappropriate interpretation. At the end of the day, colleague, here is the bottom line. It is unacceptable. It's reprehensible that nobody from the mayor's office or the mayor herself has stopped these events. And by the way, they have another event apparently scheduled for this Sunday to talk about intifada. Now, while this is not a discussion about Israel, Palestine, and the like, it's a question about what are the good citizens having to deal with on the island of Montreal. Okay. There is no doubt that doing nothing will get nothing done. We called upon the mayor to take a firm position, have an action plan, explain to all of the citizens of Montreal, not just from one community, but all the communities, what are they going to do? Are they going to allow people to block bridges, block transport, block restaurants, block businesses? Okay. And if so, they better explain it, because in a democratic society, it is not the right to ultimately do everything that you want whenever you want to the detriment of other people's rights. So let me be clear again for all your listeners. Free speech is protected. Sure. Hate speech is not. Okay. Hate has no place on the island of Montreal. It certainly should not be promoted by our politicians under the guise of free speech. Right. That's unacceptable. And I would simply say to all the listeners, today is your day. Stand up. Do not accept what is not acceptable. Your rights are being infringed upon. So take the opportunity to do what is right.
Colleague, I'm running out of time. And I really want to ask you one final question, please, 30 seconds or less. Yes. What if the city, what are you really asking for? I'm trying to get to what the consequence is if you don't get a response.
It's very simple, colleague. If somebody doesn't do what they're supposed to do, you go to the courts. You use the rule of law. If the mayor and the city do not take the appropriate steps in order to stop this, then we as a society have to use the court system. Our two clients will use the court system to bring this
But what do you have to see happen to avoid going to court?
Well, they have to come up with a plan. If the mayor has a plan, maybe she should tell everybody, because to date she hasn't told anybody anything. Don't listen carefully to what she said. Free speech, free assembly, we're not going to interfere with it. She talks about the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, but she fails to talk about the free speech and assembly of hate and violence and aggression are not protected.
So to satisfy your clients, you have to see a plan. Is that it?
There has to be a plan. Okay. There has to be details. Okay. There has to be restrictions. They have to stop people from blocking things. Don't cover your face. If you're so into getting your point across, why are you covering your face and talking about hate?
Okay. I understand. I'm so sorry. It's not that I don't want to listen to you. It's very compelling, but I'm pressed for time here. So I really appreciate you coming on, Neil. And please keep us posted when you have developments, any type of response from the city.
I want to thank you for your time, and I tell your listeners again, stand up for your rights and be heard.
All right. Neil Oberman, lawyer at Spiegel Sohmer.